you all know how to vote. Those who are in favor will say yes, those who are against will say no, and the abstainers always they know what to say. We will start it now.
In November 1947, the United Nations decided to adopt Resolution 181, which called for the partition of the Palestine region into two states, an independent Jewish state and an independent Arab state, with Jerusalem under international administration with special status. Passage of this resolution required a two-thirds majority of the valid votes of the UN's then 57 member states. On November 29, 1947, the United Nations General Assembly voted 33-13 in favor of the partition plan. An interesting fact here being, the actual vote session was scheduled on November 26th, but the Zionist delegation on that day, with their prolonged speech, filibustered the session, and the vote was postponed by 3 days. According to multiple sources, had the vote been held on the original set date, it would have received a majority, but less than the required two-thirds. The delay was used by supporters of Zionism in New York to put extra pressure on states not supporting the resolution. India, Siam, Greece were the only non-Arab countries who voted against the partition plan. The then Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru spoke with anger and contempt for the way the UN vote had been lined up. He said the Zionists had tried to bribe India with millions, and at the same time his sister, Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit, the Indian ambassador to the UN, had received daily warnings that her life was in danger unless she voted in favor of the partition plan. The major problem with this partition plan was that by 1947 the Jews constituted 33% and the Arabs 66% of the total population of the region. The partition plan allocated about 55% of Palestine to the Jew state, and only 42% to the Arabs. Jews were given more land, as in to accommodate the new immigrants who would shift to the newly formed Jewish state. Many also believed that the partition plan was so pro-Zionist that the 55% land allocated to the Jewish state also comprised most of the fertile coastal region of Palestine. This partition plan was accepted by most of the Jewish leaders, but it was outright rejected by the Arab leaders and residents of Palestine. On May 14, 1948, the British Army departed from Palestine, leaving the Jews and the Arabs to fight amongst themselves. The Palestine campaign had costed them around 750 military and police lives. On the same day, the Jews declared their independence.
נציגי היישוב העברי והתנועה הציונית ביום סיום המנדט הבריטי על ארץ ישראל.
The major leaders of the Jewish communities gathered at the Municipal Museum in Tel Aviv, where they proclaimed the establishment of a free and independent Jewish state.
מדינה יהודית בארץ ישראל היא מדינת ישראל.
This was followed by an immediate invasion by the neighboring Arab states Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon. This invasion led to the Nakba of 1948. We will talk about it in the next chapter.